Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. So today we're going to be talking about the newly promoted Chapter Master of the Imperial Fist, Gregor Dessian. And we're also going to be speaking about the past Chapter Master as well, Vorn Hagan, and his demise, because his death is left kind of open. He died at the defense of Terra. So I want to explore that and explore the possibilities on how he actually died. So let's jump in and let's get started with the new Chapter Master. If there's one thing I absolutely love about these new Codex supplements is that there's so much topics to discuss now. It's really fluffed out all the first founding chapters. You can say in our one it's fluffed out some of the second foundings as well. When I say that, I mean the Crimson Fist. The Black Templars are not in there or anything, but you know, hopefully they'll get their own book very, very soon. Now, there's one thing which really grinded my gears reading this supplement is that when they replaced the Chapter Master Vorn Hagan with Chapter Master Gregor, that there was little to hardly no information about the new Chapter Master. And what I mean by that is that we have a couple of passages which I'll go into detail in a second when I go into a bit more information about Gregor, but there wasn't a page dedicated to him. There's a page dedicated to Torgaridon, there's a page dedicated to Lysander. I know they're big when it comes to characters in the Imperial Fist, but surely, if you are a Chapter Master, if you are leading one of the greatest, if not the greatest chapters the Imperium has, surely we should have a page dedicated to your personality. Do you dislike the Iron Warriors as much as me? Do you love building Lego stuff? You know, these are the kind of vital information that we need to know. What is this guy all about? Now, the information that we do have for this new Chapter Master is mostly found on the 7th Company page. The 7th Company are known as the Guardians of the Phalanx. They are based on the Phalanx. They guard the Phalanx from any type of invasion, heretical, Xenos, whatever may put the Phalanx in danger. That is the company that will first deploy, set up a defense, and purge any type of threat. Of course, that doesn't mean that they stay on the Phalanx all the time. One of the occasions that they took part in was, of course, the Battle of Cadia. The Phalanx was deployed there to try and help Cadia defend from Abaddon's huge, massive fleet, where he deployed a Blackstone fortress and all his heretical kind of stuff. Now, we know what happened to Cadia. The planet was split in two. Chaos, well, they did win. Chaos won. They got an overwhelming victory. Abaddon's fleet was able to push through. The Great Rift happened and it split the galaxy in two. Now, from this, Gregor was filled with a lot of guilt. So much guilt that after the Great Rift manifested, he and his company embarked on a penance crusade, leading to the edge of the Great Rift, because for them, they failed. It was their failure. So to try and correct that, they went on a penance crusade to try and remove that guilt, that shame of what had happened to the Imperium. There's a very cool quote from the actual text that says, Dessian and the 7th suffered great trials on worlds writhing with demonic corruption, beset by rebellion and enslaved by heretic Astartes, but were left stronger for it. So when they went on their penance crusade, they came out a lot more stronger. So that is a good thing. That is very nice to see that his character, his personality was strengthened through resolve and his brutality of his penance into the demonic incursions of the heretical invasion onto the Imperial worlds. Now, that is really all we know when it comes to Gregor Dessian. There's a little bit of more lore, but this is more or less aimed to the general captaincy of the 7th, and it states, so important is the bond between the 7th Company and the Phalanx that when a captain ascends to the company's command, his primary heart is ritually removed and replaced with an augmetic device crafted from the battle station's own components. This transfer of flesh serves to remind the captain of his new struck bond. His augmetic heart is considerably heavier than the one it replaces and causes an ever-present pressure in his chest. So we know that he took over from Vorn Hagan, we know that he suffered on a penance crusade and he came out stronger, and we know that he's only got one heart and his other heart is augmetic. That is it. That is all we know when it comes to this new Chapter Master of the Imperial Fists. Now, if we look at the previous Chapter Master, the only real information that we get about his demise is also mentioned on the 7th Company page. And this again is addressed to Dessian and his Penance Crusade. When they came out of the Penance Crusade, it states, all for the best, as Dessian would soon have to be called upon to succeed Vorn Hagan as Chapter Master following the latter's death in Terra's defense. Now, this is where it gets very, very confusing, because if we look at Vorn Hagan, we know he was around after the Battle of Terra. So this can either mean two things, is that the rules writers got mistaken and they made a bit of a boo-boo when it comes to writing Vorn Hagan and his death. He died at the Defense of Terra, and what I mean at the Defense of Terra is that when Khorne and the Bloodthirsters all went to Terra and the Custodes came out. It's an awesome battle scene that Chris Raitt wrote about. It's called the Emperor's Throne or Guardians of the Throne. I can't bloody remember now, but it's amazing. There's Grey Knights, there's Custodes, there's Sister of Silence, there's demons. It's just absolutely bloody glorious. So the first thing that jumped into my head was that the Imperial Fist were there and they helped out and they took part, and you know, that's where Vorn Hagan died. But then when I go back and I read about Vorn Hagan, which is mentioned in the Imperial Fist supplement, he's actually mentioned that he was the one that receives the device from the Custodes to bring the Phalanx back to life. And of course, that happened after the Siege of Terra 2.0 or Siege of Terra 2 Demonic Boogaloo, let's bloody call it, or something like that. So he was around after that big battle. So I'm wondering if this is kind of like he died in Terra's defense, like as a general whole thing. He died defending Terra somewhere in the universe. Maybe that's what they mean when they come to write this section of the lore. So if you step back and look at this, we've had 3 chapter masters over a short period of time. Vladimir Pugh died, I think if I remember correctly, he like drove a starship into like a star of a sun, taking loads of Tyranids with it or something like that. And of course now we have Vorn Hagan replaced by this new chapter master, Gregor. I really, really wish that they gave us a little bit more information on how Vorn died. Reading some of the background stuff of Vorn, again, this was a lot better than we got for the new chapter master, Gregor. He was a bit of a badass. I was actually kind of upset that, you know, maybe we never got a model of the Imperial Fist chapter master. I was kind of secretly hoping that maybe it wouldn't be like Primaris Lysander, what the rumors were. It wouldn't be Primaris Torgaridon. Is that actually we would actually get a chapter master model when it comes to the Imperial Fist. I thought that'd be cool. I was like, oh yeah, Vorn Hagan. You know, I would love to see him in, you know, Primaris format leading the Imperial Fist to glory. But of course they killed him off, and now we have Gregor. It's just crappy. I really think it's crappy. And I do hope that GW expand on this once again and make his death heroic, amazing, give us more purpose. This is a chapter master at the end of the day. It's not just like a captain or a sergeant. It's a chapter master. Imagine if Dante died. Imagine if Azrael died. You know, Ragnar. You know, all these big characters. Vorn Hagan is up there with them. Yeah, he's not as renowned as them because, of course, those are the chapters which GW fluff out the most. But he is still a chapter master at the end of the day, and to just say he died at Terra's defense, I think it's a kind of a low blow. It's a kind of a sucker punch to us Imperial Fist boys. Yes, I know, we Imperial Fist are made to die. True strength is born in pain, but that doesn't mean that we should have the most shallowest of shallowest deaths. Fluff it out, give us the heroic death that a chapter master deserves. The other chap, Vladimir Pugh, went out in a blaze of glory. Why can't we have the same when it comes to Vorn Hagan? I am very, very disappointed on how he has been treated. I think I'm mostly salty because I know Vorn Hagan came from the 5th Company, and of course 5th Company are my homeboys. 5th Company, black and yellow, is definitely the best looking when it comes to the Imperial Fist. I'm going to be colouring my Torgaridon in the glorious 5th Company colours, because why not? Because black on yellow is merely the best colours when you come to paint the glorious Imperial Fists. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That is all that we have when it comes to the new chapter master. That's all that we have on the previous chapter master. What do you chaps think? Do you think he deserves a more heroic death? Do you think we deserve more information when it comes to Gregor? I personally do, but then again, maybe my feelings are kind of in a fandom camp, since I belong to this faction, and maybe overstepping my mark. But I'd love to know what you chaps think in the comment section below. Thank you for coming. Thank you for watching. Of course, let me know all your thoughts, feedbacks in the comments, and we can have a nice little discussion about it down there. See you now. Have a great day, and bye-bye.